As our showers wind down this evening, we're tracking the chance of rain Saturday and Sunday across much of the inland Northwest.
Kids do need help these days to overcome and find strategies to cope with that stuff.
During this Mental Health Awareness Month, we are taking a look at resources available to help young people in the community. Chiefs fans will be out in force tonight for a must-win game at the Spokane Arena. Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 5 tonight. I'm Mark Hanrahan. Well, Chiefs fans are getting ready at this hour for a must-win game at the Spokane Arena. Caitlin Galloway is standing by live at the arena tonight with the voice of the Chiefs, Mike Boyle, with some insight into tonight's game. Good evening, guys.
Hey there, Mark. Yeah, this is becoming kind of a regular thing. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Last time we talked about, the difference between 3-1 and 2-2 is a big one, but here we are. Chiefs down 3-1. This is kind of their last chance. Oh. How do you feel about tonight?
Well, they don't really have any pressure on them. That's the one thing I can say is that no one's expecting them to win. So I think they can just go out and play. I think they've played a little pressured. I mentioned that last time I talked to you, Caitlin. I think they've been squeezing the sticks and kind of forcing some things a little bit. Tonight, there's no excuses. I mean, it's their last home game. It's the last chance for the 320-year-olds and the rest of the team to play in front of the home crowd for the final time. So I think they can just, let it rip tonight. And I think if they just go out and do that and play their game, they'll be fine.
Absolutely. This Chiefs top line has really been carrying them all season, but they've had a little bit of a down series this time around. What do we need to see from them tonight? Well,
I think they need to set the example on how to play the game. I think the biggest problem they've had thus far is they've gotten a little too individualistic. It's a lot of east-west at the blue lines. There's not enough north-south getting it into the offensive zone and then doing the dirty work along the walls and net front to make things happen. When they did that in Game 2, they had a lot of success. When they did in Games 3 and 4, well, you saw the results. So I think if they just get back to playing just simple hockey and getting back to the structure that Brad Lauer wants them to play, I think they'll be just fine. And the other thing, too, is that they can't put pressure on themselves to try to do too much. And I think that happens sometimes, that they feel like that they got to do more than what they're capable of to lead the club. And that doesn't have to be the case. The other lines are going to do their jobs, but generally they fall in line with what they see from that top line.
There you have it. Puck drop coming up at 7:05 here at the Spokane Arena. A must-win situation for the Chiefs. Thanks so much for talking with us before you head up to the booth, and we'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, guys, thank you very much, and go Chiefs tonight. All right, another big headline tonight is the weather. We've made it to Friday, and it looks like we have a rainy one in store. Let's get outside right now to Chief Meteorologist Jeremy the Jeremy, no rain yet for you, though.
No, I've been standing out here dry. In fact, the ground has already dried out. Kind of incredible how that happened. Looking around, a couple of breaks in the clouds, but nothing too promising. So if you want sunshine, that's a lie. No, I mean in parts of the region, we are seeing enough breaks in the cloud cover to get a little bit of sunshine. And temperatures sit at 51 degrees, so it's not all that bad. Most of our scattered showers have moved into North Idaho, and that's where they are going to stay for the remainder of the evening. A lot of that activity down south of Interstate 90. Few light scattered showers off to the north, very akin to what we went through the day with. So don't expect much of a change. These things are not moving fast. They're just slowly falling apart as we round out the rest of the day. Tomorrow, we'll wake up to scattered showers. It's just the nature of the beast. But by tomorrow afternoon, we get this nice surge of warmth that's going to bump us back into the 60s. That gives us the chance. It's a small chance of an isolated thunderstorm. I think you could see one of those in one of these little cells that pop up, one of the ones with the yellow or orange in them. That would be heavier rain and maybe a rumble of thunder. Widespread rain Saturday night. By Sunday morning, it all moves up into the mountains. And by Sunday afternoon, a few light scattered showers as temperatures trend quite a bit cooler. It's an interesting forecast. Tomorrow, we're back in the 60s, a whopping 11 degrees warmer than where we were today. You're going, we were at 54? We'll talk that coming up. 56 on Sunday, and we start drying out next week.
All right, sounds good, Jeremy. We'll check back in with you later in the show. Developing news tonight, we have learned the identities of the two people killed in an attack this week on Spokane's South Hill. On Tuesday, 911 calls came in from the Hart Terrace apartment saying there had been a stabbing and a shooting. We now know the suspect, who was shot and killed by a bystander, was 61-year-old Daniel McFarland. Before McFarland was killed, police believe he randomly stabbed 60-year-old Kevin Christensen to death. There's a big pole in River Park Square right now after a car crashed into the front doors in downtown Spokane last night. Take a look at this video. Spokane police say the driver first hit a parked car and then crashed into the mall at around 9 o'clock last night. Authorities say some of the information they received indicates the vehicle swerved to avoid hitting someone on a scooter before the collision with that building. The driver was hurt and taken to the hospital. He's been cited for reckless driving. A brand new state law could have big implications on the region's 911 system. The new law paves the way for Spokane to develop its own 911 system, potentially changing how 911 tax revenue is allocated. Governor Bob Ferguson signed that House Bill 1258 into law. It aims to change funding for emergency dispatch so it's based on call volume versus population. This comes after Spokane Regional Emergency Communications voted at one point earlier this winter to remove the Spokane Fire Department from their system. So now either the city fire department continues working with SHREC for a regional center, or they leave SHREC on a separate funds based on city and county needs. No matter the outcome, it should not impact emergency response.
All agencies are vested in, delivering top quality, top tier 911 emergency services to the community. So I think in either event, it works out, but more to come as far as the actual outcome.
The city of Spokane, Spokane County, and SHREC have a mediation session scheduled for June 11th to work on the next steps for the plan. The Spokane International Airport will be closing its main runway next week for routine maintenance work. That closure begins on Monday from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. It'll close again on Tuesday during those same hours. The good thing for passengers, there should not be any delays. The airport will instead use its secondary east-west oriented runway. The biggest impact might be on people's living on the South Hill. They'll see an increase in air traffic while that secondary runway is in use. Still ahead tonight, a big blow for President Trump tonight. Republicans have blocked his domestic policy bill. We'll have the details when we come back after the break.